said to me, I will not let my family crumble over integrity or me trying to make a stand or a point. With no integrity, your family's already crumbled. I don't give a goddamn how many mansions you pull up to. I don't give a goddamn how many private jets you pull up to. I don't care how many private yachts.
Okay, yeah, it was like private jets.
Private jets. I was trying to say
okay,
jets.
That's what's up. Okay.
But I don't give a fuck about all of your material shit. If you have no integrity, you've already crumbled. You've already crumbled your family. Because if you're banking on, oh, they can pull up to a nice house. God damn it, let us pull up to a studio bedroom apartment, but we got integrity. We have our children saying we're proud of what you stood for. Not, yeah, you paid the mortgage, but God damn if you wasn't a coward. Let's go to the line, y'all. We're talking about it. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, Mo, how are you? It's Shantae calling from the DMV area.
Hey, Shantae.
Hey.
Hey, Sydney, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's awesome to speak to both of you guys. Monique, you have no idea, sis. I've been on your side since day one. My friends, they joke, they said, Shantae, Monique need to hire you for PR. I said, no, she got Sydney. I want her to know that I'm on her side.
Thank you,
from
baby.
Day one, from when it started with the Amy Schumer. I think that what you are doing is absolutely incredible. As an African-American woman myself that often has to take second fiddle, you are championing not only black people, but you are championing all marginalized groups. Stand, Monique, stand, sis, and we will continue to support you.
Thank you so much, baby. That's why we love you, Mama.
We appreciate
I
you.
love you too, Monique. Sydney, Godspeed. I wish y'all nothing but the best. But I can tell you, Monique, I have been standing by you. When people was like, but they said, I said, let me tell you something. You cannot concede when it comes to standing firm on your beliefs. And when you are trying to push through, the enemy is always busy. Always busy. But guess what? We busier.
Come on now, baby. We're going to stay busy, Shantae.
We're going to stay busy in 2019 and beyond. And I said, let me say this. I said, Monique has a litany of awards. You kidding me? What Netflix was offering her? Monique is hilarious. She's charismatic. She's charming. She's intelligent. She's brilliant. And let me say this. You paid your dues. It's no more paying, no more dues. It's time to stand firm. Keep pushing, Monique. Keep rising, sis. And I'm going to keep on supporting you.
Thank you, Shantae. You the real Shantae. All right, baby.
So we'll keep it 100, y'all. God
Love
bless.
you, baby. That's why we got to keep standing.
That's why.
Even, y'all, when it's uncomfortable. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, Monique. This is Brianna calling from Georgia.
Hey, Brianna from Georgia.
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to call and just let you know that I am so proud of what you're doing, standing for all the black girls out there. You are worth more than what they're trying to give you, and just keep fighting for us. A lot of us, we don't understand what you're doing right now. They're trying to say, we watch you doing this and watch you doing that, and she just needs to sit back and be quiet. No, fuck that. You need to keep speaking up and standing on what you believe in, and keep praying, my sister, and I'm going to keep praying for you.
Thank you, sweet baby. We love you, Mama. See, this is why, for me, that y'all, if they never have y'all sister back in Hollywood again, if they say that bitch talk too much, she too, all of that, if the next one get it and get it fairly, someone said to me, is this all worth it? Yes, it is. It's all worth it. It's all worth it. And one day, hopefully, we'll get to a place where we all unify and we all get it. Because I'm not the first one to take a stand. Of course not. There's so many before me that took a stand. But you have to ask yourself, why do we have to keep taking these stands? For there were so many before us. Because there are still so many that are afraid to stand your ass up. There's still so many that says, oh, I got it and I ain't going to do shit to mess it up and whatever it takes for me to keep it. So what we're saying right now is it's being said out of love. Someone put, I hate Steve. Please don't. That's the last thing we want, baby. The last thing we want is for anybody to hate our brother. For anybody to hate Oprah, Tyler, Lee, Steve, Will Packer. We don't want nobody to hate our brothers and sisters.
That's not what this is about.
At all. What we want is for us to fall in love with each other for real. For real.
And understand that the reason why, if you can go, it's on social media right now, where Brother Steve said back in the day when he had the box haircut and the long suits before he made the transition. And he said, if you give me $4 million,
yes,
I will act like a monkey and scratch and pick things off of me. If you give me $10 million, I'll swing in on a vine.
Yes.
And the black community, they're going to be so upset with me. And as Maya Angelou said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Now, with that being said, as disappointed as you may be, still find a way to love that cat, because that is our brother. And I'm not speaking from any other way than for yourself, because you got to understand the reason why people think the way that they think is not to piss you off. It's because they've been conditioned that the better life, you can't understand that the slave who was watching his master pull off in that fine clothes that the slaves made, in the fine cart with the fine horses, living in the fine house, that the slave somehow wanted to be like the master.
Come on.
Not realizing that if he was like the master, he would then have to be a slave owner. Mm. And when you understand that there were slave owners who happened to be black, that means there was a disconnect from the injustices that they had suffered and imposed it on others who were slaves. So we have to understand that what we're seeing is just hundreds of years of conditioning of us wanting the proverbial bag, wanting to be successful at any cost, and forgetting, as Sammy Davis Jr. said, everything that he thought that he wanted at the top.
Come on. He already had at the bottom. And that was simply his family. See, y'all, if we do our research and we don't just accept history, but we research our story, then you'll find out these stories are not unique. There's a brother named Donald Bogle, who wrote a book, Bright Lights, Bold Boulevard. It's about the beginning of Black Hollywood, and it brings us all the way up to current times. All of us are in this goddamn book. Just only thing that changed was the faces. The only one that's not in that book is Oprah Winfrey, because there was no blueprint. Everyone else is in that book. The only thing that changed was the faces, but the story stayed the same. You had the ones in that book that felt like, I got mine, you niggas got yours to get, and I'm going to do whatever I got to do to keep mine. You have the ones in the book that says, yeah, baby, we getting it, but we not getting it fairly. And if we stand together, it might be different. And her goddamn name was Hattie McDaniel.
Paul Robeson.
Come on, Eartha Kitt. See, what we didn't understand was even back then, when they tried to put Hattie McDaniel against Lena Horne, and his name was Charles White, I believe, am I saying it right? Charles White, who was a black man, but felt like Hattie McDaniel was the old-time nigga, the maid nigga, the slave nigga. We don't want to deal with that kind of nigga no more. Now it's time for the new nigga, and that's Lena Horne. So now we're going to throw Hattie McDaniel away. So Hattie McDaniel had to go to Lena Horne's home and said, what we're not going to do, baby, is let them turn us against one another. Go do that shit. Go do what you can do to open up the doors you got to open up. I'm going to still do what I need to do over here. So though they tried to put those two women against one another, Hattie McDaniel said, I'm not going to buy into this bullshit. And though they never paid Hattie McDaniel equally. Never. Even after she won that trophy, they said, we hope this nigga don't think now she's going to get what her white counterparts get.
Well, she already said, if they didn't pay me fairly before I got it.
Come on.
After I got it, they really didn't want to see me. And when you watch the video of Steve and Monique, because this is how we sometimes get caught up, notice that he said that Monique was wrong, Oprah, Tyler Lee, they were wrong, and they should apologize to one another. But that man never apologized to Monique when he made the statement that she burned too many bridges. And he had time enough to make that statement, but never had time enough to call her up to find out why these statements were being made about her. And as he said, well, I probably should have. I probably should have called. And you right, but you know I was busy. If you're not too busy to condemn, don't be too busy to call.
We're talking about it, y'all. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from? Hello?
Man, go on, baby.
I'm sorry to keep him on hold for so long, but baby, we got to do
You
it.
got to do it.
Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from? Hello?
Try it again.
Okay. And listen, too.
And you want to give them the call-in number again? Because I keep saying people say.
Yes, sir. The call-in number is 470-282-1802. Y'all, before we start judging, just do your homework. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hello, my name is Monique, and I'm calling from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, Monique.
Hey, Monique.
Hey, so I'm super shocked because it took me about 87 calls to get through. But listen, I'm not even going to hold y'all up with all that. This is what I'm going to say. Monique, from one Monique to another, from one truth bearer and truth seeker to another, I have to tell you that I went through the same thing in my family. The only difference is I went up against my family, not an industry. So I can only imagine how it feels to go up against an entire industry. That's terrible. My family, my situation was sexual abuse. They knew this man raped and molested all these people in my family and in his family from his first wife. They did absolutely nothing. At 16, I stood up for myself. I stood up for the people that came before me because they were still suffering. I stood up for the people that was coming after me because I didn't want them to get hurt. And you know what ended up happening? My family disowned me, ostracized me, kicked me out, basically. I had to be on my own for a very long time. I'm still on my own, even though I'm 30. But what I'm saying is, at 16, I was walking the streets. At night, because I didn't have anywhere else to go, because nobody else would stand up with me, with my family. So I know how hard it is. I just want to let you know, Monique, to stay strong. And the other thing is, when it comes to Sydney and the negative things they're saying about him, if he was not standing behind you, what would they call him?
Come on,
If he
baby.
was not being a protective husband, what would they call him? If he was not doing what a black man is supposed to do, because black men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, a lot of them, the majority of them, which is why we have so many broken homes. But then here you have one that's doing what he's supposed to be doing, that's being here supporting his wife, supporting his family, and being the backbone and standing back to back with you, and they mad. So you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. That's a problem for me. That should be a problem for everybody. But instead, we have too many Steve Harveys. I put up a post on Facebook when I saw that the interview, and I said, "Are you a Steve Harvey or are you a Monique?" Mm-hmm. I'm a Monique. I made a video today on YouTube. Are you a Steve Harvey or are you a Monique? Nothing against Steve Harvey as far as him as a person, but what he stands for is wrong. There's too many Steve Harveys. We need more Moniques. That's all I have to say.
Come on now. Thank you.
Stay strong, Mo.
Yep. You're welcome.
Love you, baby. Come on, baby. We're talking about it. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. And someone just said, why would you hug him and now have this conversation? I hugged him because I love him. And that's the part that fucks with a lot of y'all. When you say, how could you love and hug? Well, because
they're both the same. You having a conversation about this situation out of love, and you hug them out of what?
Love.
It's the same thing.
Now I'm going to tell y'all something. The reason why I can speak on that, because there have been conversations that my husband and I have had to have when we first got together. And I would have probably said the same thing. That's not love, because that's hurting my feelings. That's not love, because you telling me the truth. That's not love, because how dare you, that's hurting my ego. It was nothing but love. And it was nothing but that love, that unconditional love, that helped save my life. See, I'm not saying something, y'all, that I'm just pulling out the air or I'm guessing on. And the reason why these conversations are being so direct, because they had to happen with me. And it saved my life. My mother didn't have it with me. My father didn't have it with me. I'm the youngest of all my siblings. None of them had it with me. It took this man right here to say, there's too much weight on you. And if you don't do something about it, we'll be coming to your funeral. Now, to some people, that's, for me, that was, but it made me say, let me get in here and do something to save my life, because ain't nobody ever gave it to me like that. What I would get was, girl, you get a little chunky. You better slow it down, but not. Listen, we're going to have to start getting prepared for your funeral, because the way you're going, it's going to take your life. So it's the real conversations, y'all, that again is not wrapped up in a bow. It's the ones that we've been conditioned not to have. It's the ones we've been conditioned, even in our homes, just let that go. Just let that go. See that baby that just called the name Monique and said she was ostracized from her family for speaking out loud about who molested her? Me too. So was I. And I'm grateful that I wasn't 16. No, I'm sorry. When I told, I was much younger. When I first told my mother, I was 15 years old. It got dealt with for about 24 hours. Then it was as if it had never happened. Then the next time I had to come forward with it was when I was doing the movie